when I was running College Pro, we had 8,000 students painting houses. We had 800 franchisees, and I was coaching the franchisees on how to be most productive, but they only had 17 weeks to run their business, right? We did $64 million in house painting between May 1st and August 31st. So we had to be operationally world class. If we just kind of missed on a week, that was 6.5% of our year gone. So we became very tight on priority management. And priority management was a little bit kind of before time management starts, right? Priority management is thinking about all the stuff you have to get done. What are the big priorities, your big A's and your big B's, numbering all of your A's into the highest impact items, and then putting those A's into your calendar, and then putting your B's or delegating the B's so that you get all that stuff done by either delegating and growing people or making sure that you're working on the most impactful stuff. So Sunday became my planning day back in the late 80s when I was running my first company, and it just stuck with me that if I spend a half an hour thinking about my next week, planning all my priorities, putting them into my calendar and realizing I don't have enough time to do all the stuff I want to get done or need to get done, I have to now decide who am I going to delegate it to and when can I coach them and make sure that, leveraging situational leadership, they know how to do it. So it just became a system to be able to be very effective. I know that I need to get to a certain result, and my core job is not to make sure that a job is done the way I want it done. My core job is to grow people, to grow their skills, their confidence, and their connections so that I can keep giving them more and bigger project stuff so that will I can get results through others. So by focusing on growing them and growing their skills and growing their confidence and growing their connections and delegating more, I was able to just grow the businesses really quickly. Instead of worrying about micromanaging and how a task got done, my real end result was growing the human so that they could always take on more capacity. We had only 16 weeks to start and grow a company really, really quickly. So we didn't have time to do everything, right? I didn't have time to be that kind of radically self-reliant entrepreneur who's like, I'll just do it my way. I didn't have time to do it my way, right? Again, 1 week was 6% of my year. Consider 6 times 17 weeks is 102%, right? You don't have a lot of time to do it my way. And I also didn't like painting. So I didn't really want to pick up a paintbrush and scrape on a house. So I figured, how do I grow the business quick enough to be big enough to have enough gross margin to cover all my overhead so I make all the profit or enough profit without having to do the physical labor. So we just kind of reverse engineered that. In fact, even when I was coaching Kimball Musk back in 1993, I remember he said he wanted to make $15,000 in profit. And I said, what would your life be like if you made 20? He's like, wow, like 20 grand in profit back in 1993 was a lot of money. And so we just reverse engineered that. So that's kind of the way I approach it today, is just thinking about what do I really want to get done? My to-do list doesn't say Cameron's to-do list, right? It's just a bunch of stuff that needs to get done. So then I just decide who can I delegate it to. And if I'm like, I don't have anyone who can do this, doesn't matter. Who can I delegate it to and how can I grow them so they can do this? I think so often entrepreneurs get blocked saying, well, I don't have anybody I can delegate this to, so I'll do it. No, in fact, I have a podcast right now that's in the top 100 on Apple. It's called The Second in Command. I now have a co-host who's interviewing a bunch of guests for me to test out how well the episodes will do if I have a really skilled host running those shows, so I didn't even need to necessarily do all of the episodes. Delegate everything except genius.